I want to talk about Bruce Springsteen. I love this man, full of mission. I love him. I just love Bruce. What I'm about to share with you, what he said, resonates so much with me right now. It's unbelievable. It's just crazy. But it comes with a little bit of music news as well, and that's that. Western Stars is out. We've been tracking Bruce. He put the new album out, Glenn Campbell inspired sort of a record, a little bit of a risk. It's gotten a great reception. He'll talk about that. We were sort of speculating, like, are we going to get a Bruce solo tour following up all the Netflix stuff that he did, the Broadway and then the Netflix? Are we going to get a solo tour? We are not, but he has something for us. And that's on top of what we're expecting, that he's going to get back and record an E Street Band record and then go out on the tour with the guys next year in 2020. But what are we going to get from Bruce for now? As he tells us here in this call, he actually called into his own channel on Sirius XM. He called into the Bruce Springsteen channel, which is kind of hilarious, and shared the news that we are going to get a Western Stars film to go along with the album. Here's what he means.
We made a film of the Western Stars album where I play the record start to finish, along with some other things. And so, because we weren't going to tour, we knew we weren't going to tour, so I was looking for a way to get some of the music live to the audience, and so we figured that was the best way to do it.
How cool is that? So we're going to get a concert film from Bruce on Western Stars. Now, I don't know. I mean, I would assume, judging by how well the Broadway thing went and consequently the Netflix, I would assume it's going to be on Netflix. But who knows? Maybe he just throws it up on YouTube. I don't know. I think that would be cool. I do have to credit Bruce in his 60s for being one of the best, not only musicians artistically, but entrepreneurial and on top of the now musicians that are out there. I mean, literally, when you look at his body of work, a Sirius XM channel, Netflix special, great YouTube channel, Instagram's on point. He announced Western Stars through some cryptic photos on Instagram. Like, the guy knows what time it is. And there's a lot of artists, not only his age, but there's a lot of artists younger that don't know what time it is. There's a lot of people that don't know what time it is and how the world works and how you grab and garner attention these days. Bruce is entirely on top of that. A little bit of a risk, this new album. He knew that. In this clip, he talks about the album's reception by his audience.
Well, we're excited by the whole reception of the record because I thought the record was a little off to the left, and I really didn't know what kind of response it was going to get. But, just walking around and talking to fans on the street, and seeing how the record was received, it was very exciting and made us look for how we could sort of further that experience for the fans without going out and playing live right now, because I'm still working on some other things too.
And then you notice how he dropped that little nugget out there, like, still working on some other things. What are the other things? What are the other things I need to know right now? I mean, we know there's an E Street Band record coming. He's confirmed that, so that's definitely one of them. But what else is he working on? I'm dying to know. I'm dying to know. He's kind of a genius when it comes to promoting these days. This is some life advice for you. If you don't love Bruce, whatever, listen to what this man has to say. Because this hits home with me. This is part one of two clips I'm going to play for you guys. Where he talks about having a great audience and the ability to do whatever he wants with that audience. This is something that hits home for me because I have issues with this too. And I feel like it'll be more valuable coming from Bruce than me. He's a lot older. He's a lot more experienced. He's been through it. But what he talks about in the second clip especially is what I am going through right now personally in my own life. On a daily basis with this show, there's a lot of issues, a lot of friction, a lot of things all the time. I decided a long time ago that I was going to do things a certain way. I decided that I was going to play the long game. Forget radio, forget Bruce and music. A lot of people in life, business, playing short-term games, right? Short-term. What's good for me today? What's good for me tomorrow? What am I going to gain out of this next week? What did Ant talk about in this break? What did we invest in today? Right? Whatever it is. People today in society, I don't know if it's social media or attention, I don't know what it is. Short-term games, too many of them. You want some good life advice? Play the long-term game. Don't focus so much about what you're doing in this tiny little itty-bitty space today in the next hour. Widen that out a little bit. Think about what you're doing in this tiny little space in an hour and how it's going to contribute and how you're going to build upon it in the long term. And if you want some great life advice, listen to Bruce talk about how great his audience is today and how he got to develop it and how he got here. Here's part 1 of Bruce talking about how great his audience is, and the development will come in part 2.
You know, John and I were talking about this. You know, we've worked hard over the years, and we have built an audience that really follows me where I need to go, and that's something that is so deeply appreciated by me that it's really something I'm proud of. You know, they're not stuck in a rut. They don't only want to hear a specific group of songs. They're really adventurous as far as if I keep the quality of what I'm doing up, they're adventurous as far as where I want to go, and that's something that's the greatest gift an audience can give an artist, is room to be who he is, to create what he feels, and to know that you have open ears when you put that out. You know, so it was very, very satisfying and very exciting to see the reception that the record got from the fans, and it's something that I deeply appreciate, and it's a record I'm really proud of, and so it's a lovely thing, and I just want to send a thank you out to my great audience that's out there.
Very appreciative and very humble. And here's how he got that great audience today. He made a decision a long time ago. This is a great story. I love this.
If you want to be great, you need to have a great audience. And it's just something that I'm very proud of over the years, how we've developed together and how we've grown together. That was my dream as a young musician. I knew from the start, from when I was 22 or 23. I remember I had a guy a fellow musician who had a very popular hit at the moment, walked into Kenny's Castaways when I was playing in 1973, and there was about 20 people there. And he'd seen me with my bands down the shore and, you know, playing to thousands of people, and he came up to me and said, "What are you doing? What in the world are you doing here?" You know? But I knew what I was doing here. I was looking to play the long game, right from when I was young. And I believed if I gave what I felt was my complete best, that things would work out, you know, that there'd be an audience there eventually that would respond. And luckily, and there's some element of luck along with the hard work and the dedication that comes with it. That happened, and we never looked back. So to be this far in and to see how that long game developed and what it's meant for me in my life, and hopefully what it's meant for my fans, is one of the most deeply satisfying parts of my life right now.
Playing the long game, knew it at 23. Playing to thousands of people, goes to Kenny's Castaway to play for 20 people. Guy with a big hit, what are you doing? He knew it. Playing the long game. I'm playing the long game. Because when it comes time, you fast forward, he's in his 60s, and he can go, I want to make a Glenn Campbell inspired record. And he can do it, and his audience will be there, and they'll buy it up. And they'll be shouting for the songs come time for the concerts. He knew what he was doing. He was playing the long. We don't play the long game enough. By the way, I mean, this resonates right up until yesterday. And I say this every time I bring up Woodstock. I'm going to get flack for this. I'm getting it from coworkers. What do you do as a boy? I'm playing the long game. When you go back and look at every single time I've addressed Woodstock on this show, long term, some of the biggest engagement we've had on the morning show with Anthony in the last year is our Woodstock stories. Biggest engagement. People are like, oh, it's over. Who cares? Blah, 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 blah. And I just sit here and I'm quiet and I watch the numbers go up and up and up and up. Playing the long game. We don't play the long game in life, everything, in business, with your significant other, with your family. Don't worry about the argument today. Worry about that long game. Worry about where your relationship is going to be 20 years from now. You don't want to spend money on your business today. I don't have it. I'm worried. I'm not sure. Think about what that money is going to do for you in the long game. I see this with advertisers all the time on this show. Spending money, it's not a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's important to me. It's not important. I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. Look at some of our advertisers. Been with the station for 20 years. 20 years. You think if it wasn't working, they would be here for 20 years? Some of the smart ones, they've been playing the long game for 20 years. Right? Too much short-term thinking in our world today. Too much, I'm not immediately gratified. Guys, got to start thinking longer. That's good life advice. I get you not wanting to take it from me. Take it from Bruce. He knew. He knew the unpopular things to do at the time that would eventually pan out and work out for him. And it did. And look at him now. He has the ultimate form of freedom. He has what a lot of artists can't do. How many legacy acts do you see go out on tour playing the same set list over and over again? They're at the same venues, playing the same set list. They're in jail. They're getting to do what they like to do, but they're in prison. They step aside for 1 second, everybody leaves them. Bruce can go out and do whatever the hell he wants. And we're all sitting there like, please give me more. He played the long game, and it paid off for him in the long term. Good for him. That's good quality life advice, not just for musicians, not just for dopes on the radio, but for business people, for relationships in your personal life, for everybody. Stop thinking so short term.